Join me as I try to fix the world of dating one YouTube video at a time. Hi, my name's David and I am shocked at the world of dating nowadays. No longer do you just go to university and meet your husband or wife-to-be in Freshers Week. Now it's suddenly a huge mess. Life is 10 times more difficult now. Costs are through the roof. Dating apps have been useless and have plunged us into this constant state of despair, really. And of course, on social media, we see happy couples all the time. As a result, dating has become a lot more divisive. It's something that we feel like we should all be partaking in, but now the barriers to entry are so obscenely high. You know, all guys are expecting a 10 out of 10 and wouldn't settle for anything less. And all girls are wanting 6'5", guy with a trust fund and, you know, being insanely ripped and super handsome as like the minimum barriers to entry as well. Matter of fact is that our expectations have just been massively skewed due to everything that's happening around us. So I'm here to fix that through these videos, getting other people's opinions on it, and also setting up my own in-person dating events business called Flutters, because let's be honest, everyone really is just better in person. More on that in a second. Today, I want to talk about the ick. So what is the ick? Well, I would classify it as someone essentially going from like 100 to 0 on how much they like someone, where 100 is you super like them, just because they did something weird, something quirky, and you could no longer see yourself in a romantic relationship with them as a result. Now these icks can range from literally anything, from having a Velcro wallet, to clapping when the plane lands, to breathing incorrectly, I've heard, to also falling over in sports, or not being able to do well on mini golf or bowling, or the list goes on and on and on. It honestly doesn't make that much sense, because if you quite like someone, then surely you can get over the fact that he has a Velcro wallet. Buy him a new wallet, it's not the end of the world. But where did it come from? I think this is really interesting, because if you take us back to when dating apps first started, and there was so much choice, right? That's the whole big thing about this. You went from knowing all the people in kind of like your university or your local area and community to suddenly seeing this whole city-wide scape of people, and that was incredible. That was one of the initial allures. But here's what happened, right? Because guys saw this and they thought, oh my God, I'm going to get so many women back with me. But women didn't think the same. You see, men thought, right, the more I swipe right, the more dates I can get. And for the good-looking guys, yes, that worked as well. But because of the abundance of choice, men swiping right all the time, yes, absolutely, of course. Women weren't that selective, they never were, that didn't change, and so women were suddenly flooded with so much more choice. They had, you know, matches going straight up to 99 on the first day, they would see loads of people, then be able to talk to the nice guys and go around the city for the day with the nice guys, but then go home with an absolute 10 out of 10 stud. And they'd get everything out of it. Why would they need to change? However, on the male side, nothing really was happening. We would still have the same problems and we would still be swiping right, but we wouldn't really be getting that much from it. Apart from the super attractive gods, the casual dating app user wouldn't really find it that useful, which is paradoxical because we've got this huge array of choice. We've been given access to more people, so surely we should be more, I guess, winning. Winning more is the phrase. It's a terrible phrase, actually. Doing better? Yeah, we'll go with that, whatever. So, men thought, okay, I'm clearly not doing that well. Maybe I just need to be a bit less selective. Already swiping around like about 90% of people. And I just need to swipe right a bit more. And so what happens is that men swipe right more, so women get even more choice and more people, so they can narrow that down and really get that top, 10% that are 6'5", whatnot, and so forth. But because they've got all this choice now, and this goes through a huge cycle of, men swiping right a bit more, oh, I'm still not getting anything, okay, I need to swipe right even more, okay, I'll just swipe right on everything. And so women are getting more and more choice, and it comes to the point where we're going to have so much choice from men just being super horny on these apps that they essentially need reasons in order to stop going out with people, right? There is so much abundance of choice. If you swipe right on someone, match with them, go on a date, it doesn't work out, you can have another one over in about 10 minutes. So it helps to kind of have reasons for this as to why things don't work. And these reasons come in the form of icks. And like I said, these icks have manifested itself, and it used to be something a bit fun, like, oh, you know, he listens to these podcasts, I can never go out with him, whatever. Now they've just become the quickest way to end a relationship. Seemingly, out of no logic, you can go from, yeah, I quite like this person, to, I can never see them in my life again. He likes Michael McIntyre. I don't know. But it's just completely detrimental. There's a fine line between having standards and self-sabotage. There are some things where, okay, yeah, I can't budge on this. You know, they're a United fan, I'm a City fan. We can never possibly get on. But, okay, if they, I don't know, wear a bowler hat or something, I think I can get over it because I can just take the hat off their head. And it's interesting because you never really see icks for women. They do exist, they are out there, but they're not really put across or shouted about that much in social media and online and so forth, purely because of the origin of ick, right? It comes from the dating apps when women have abundances of choice and so forth. Here's what I'd like to know. I'd like to know your icks. I'd like to know exactly what sends you from going, yes, I think this is a great person, to no, I can never see them again in a second. Comment your ick down below because I really want to know. But I want us to think about the, oh yeah, you know, the things that people do that are just like make them 10 times hotter. Right? So for example, my oh yeah would be if you're nice to hospitality staff. Brilliant, 10 out of 10. And green flag, if you wanted to use that terminology as well. But these are just things that can randomly happen. They don't need to be certain qualities in a person, but just little tiny things that people do. Another, oh yeah, might be, I don't know, something super weird, like you just wore glasses with your outfit and you look 10 times hotter, right? It might be backing into a car parking space supremely easily. That is very impressive, like, oh yeah, fair play. It might just be offering to pay on the first date, or even leading on planning the first date as well. These are just little things. I think it's more beneficial to focus on these oh yes and the positive energy that comes with them, rather than instantly ending a relationship with someone based on the little evidence that you have. You know, he just did something a bit weird. We're all weird, we're all human. We've all got quirks and idiosyncrasies, and you know what, with social media, they're everywhere, right? You can't get away from them. So again, in the same vein, I want to know your oh yes, comment them down below, because these are the things we should be celebrating, and these are the things which will help everyone out in the future, really. Right, so what have we learned here? When dating went online, everything went to the dogs. It's absolutely terrible. We got this ick, and now as a result, a lot of relationships are ending prematurely because we think that it's normalized, in a sense, to come up with all these different reasons why you might not go out with. But you see, when things have been online, they're not anymore. Dating apps are on the decline, right? You're not going to find true connection by swiping. You're never going to find the one on your sofa at 1 a.m. Well, actually, you might, if it's going quite well. Look, we're a sociable species, you know, discounting the tube at rush hour, of course, and everybody truly is better in person. Fundamentally believe that. There is no point hiding how amazing everyone is and thinking that 5 photos and a few prompts can get that across. There is no algorithm that can capture the complexity of human beings, that can facilitate that first glance that you have in a coffee shop and you dial back and you think, oh, are they looking at me? Should I get their number? The flutters that we feel inside us. It just can't be replaced by any algorithm. So if you want to feel those feelings again and ditch the dating apps, we have our first in-person dating event at Flutters coming up in Birmingham on Thursday, the 3rd of July at 7:30 p.m. at Felson's on Broad Street. And you know what? Your ticket includes a free drink as well. There's pool tables, shuffleboard, games, all sorts of great stuff to try and break the ice. And you know what? If you bring a wingman or wingwoman, they can get a discount as well. Easy money for you. Have a great night, meet some cool people, feel those flutters again. It's going to be brilliant. I'll see you there.